Town area due to the narrower footprint.
Charlotte City Council member Malcolm Graham ended the town hall, but people stayed to express their outrage.
NCDOT tells us they're exploring building up instead of out, an overhead expansion. They say it's to reduce displacement, but make no mistake, families will still lose their homes.
For months, the project has faced stiff community opposition. An NCDOT representative said community displacement is one of the top concerns they've gotten in feedback, along with preservation of parks and noise. Graham, who had some of the crowd's ire directed at him, says he wants to be a, quote, honest broker between his constituents and the NCDOT.
Two things can be true at the same time. One, that 77 South probably needs to be widened, but it shouldn't be done at the expense of Black and brown communities.
A spokesperson said in a statement, community engagement does not stop at this point in the process, as NCDOT is working to continue minimizing design impacts. The project design will also continue to evolve, as NCDOT will ask private companies to propose additional ideas to further eliminate impacts where possible. And there's plenty of time for that and more community feedback, too. Construction isn't scheduled to start until 2030. In Charlotte, David Schuman, Queen City News.
It's not the first uproar regarding changes on I-77 in the Charlotte area. This is video from 2017 showing protesters marching on the nearby Exit 28 bridge. This demonstration was against the addition of toll lanes on the interstate. People were upset about the project's costs and the 50-year contract signed with the company overseeing the toll operations. At the time, it was the third year in a row protesters marched against the change. There are other major highway projects underway in the Charlotte area. Crews are working to ease congestion in West Charlotte to improve the connection between I-85 and I-485. Officials say more than 150,000 vehicles drive on I-85 just west of I-485 every day, and almost a quarter of those drivers get stuck in this bottleneck trying to merge. Work began in October. NCDOT engineers say construction could take years. Another project is almost wrapped up. NCDOT plans to open the new I-485 express lanes in South Charlotte on February 28th. The new toll lanes will run I-77 to US 74 in Charlotte. Work began on the express lane project in the summer of 2019. You are looking live at the Appalachian Ski Mountain Resort in Blowing Rock. It'll be another cold night in the mountains. That cold is also forcing some school districts to delay the start of classes tomorrow because of persisting icy conditions. Meteorologist Andrew Brightman is in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Andrew, we will feel that chill tonight closer to Charlotte as well.
Yeah, certainly. Going to see temperatures back down in the middle 20s. You might even see a little bit of freezing fog here. You can see already a little bit of that fog here on the camera behind me as we look towards uptown Charlotte. We got a little bit of mountain snow on the way too. Some winter weather advisories in effect and warmer temperatures. You want maybe some 60s back in the forecast? Well, that's going to be on the way as we head on into next week. Right now, temperatures now below freezing here in Charlotte. Calm conditions, so very still, a little bit of moisture in the air. They're blowing snow up in the mountains here, and they're going to get more fresh powder up at Beach Mountain in the area ski resort, so they're very happy about that. Almanac for today got up to 39. Low this morning was 33. Not a big temperature range out there, and we'll get much colder this evening. We're actually already below that 33 this evening. Notice here with the winter weather advisories for our mountain counties, they go until 7 o'clock Saturday morning. And then this other sort of shade here for Burke and Caldwell County. Those are high wind watches where we could see some very strong and gusty winds as we go throughout Friday night into Saturday morning. Pinpoint radar is quiet currently. As we zoom out, though, we've got our next system making its way down from Canada. It's going to be our next and really final blast of cold air, at least for the foreseeable future here across the Carolinas. I've been tired of all the cold temperatures, all the snow. The historic storm that we saw last weekend, relief is on the way next week. Low temperatures here up across the mountains. Us, we're already seeing a lot of upper 20s to right around the 30-degree mark. Everyone is now below freezing compared to 24 hours ago. Most places about 5 to 10 degrees cooler. I've got more on that snow across the mountains and that warm up next week, Caroline, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Andrew. You can stay up to date on the winter weather by using the Pinpoint Weather app. It's free to download in the Apple App Store and on Google Play. A Rowan County man is facing a voluntary manslaughter charge for the shooting death of his own father. It happened last July in Salisbury, but 30-year-old Trace Kinzer was not arrested until yesterday. Deputies say the two men were arguing and driving separate vehicles, then collided. Witnesses told investigators the two men shot at each other. 53-year-old Tracy Kinzer was killed. His son Trace is being held without bond. A 34-year-old Dallas man is in custody, accused in the shooting and robbery of a Gastonia restaurant owner. Officers say they caught Travis Smar today with help from the U.S. Marshals Service. He's facing charges tied to a February 2024 holdup at the China City restaurant on David Park Road. Authorities accuse Smar of stealing $3,000, shooting the owner, and threatening others inside the business. Smar is being held without bond. The murder of Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail back in August is prompting new executive action on the state level. North Carolina Governor Josh Stein is directing several state agencies to identify and implement strategies to expand access to mental health care. It comes as the mental health aspect of public safety is getting statewide attention, as Chief Political Correspondent Andy Weber explains.
North Carolina Governor Josh Stein acknowledged Thursday that the murder of Irina Zarutska on Charlotte's light rail was an example of a serious mental health crisis leading to terrible, horrific consequences. The suspect in Zarutska's murder, DeCarlos Brown, had a long documented history of mental health issues.
Everyone deserves access to care, and these moments have shown us that our system needs to work better. Better for the people who are suffering, better for those who are around them, and better for the entire community.
That's why Stein issued a new executive order to identify and fix gaps in mental health care in the Tar Heel State. Part of the order expands the co-responder model, meaning more social workers and medical professionals responding to mental health calls rather than sworn officers.
When our behavioral health system is strong, coordinated, and accessible, everyone is safer. When it isn't, law enforcement and correctional systems are left to fill gaps they were never designed to handle.
The order directs state health officials to look for ways to make it easier to get immediate care for those who are at risk of hurting themselves or others, also known as involuntary commitment. It was an avenue that Brown's family had previously pursued but weren't granted.
We must work together in a coordinated fashion as part of this executive order to identify and lift up the best solutions to this most challenging of issues.
The order also requires state agencies find more ways to provide support and care for those after incarceration through either healthcare or employment. Andy Weber, Queen City News.
Public safety within the Queen City and the Charlotte area transportation system will be the focus of a state House hearing next week. North Carolina lawmakers have invited officials including Mayor Vi Lyles, CMPD Chief Estella Patterson, and CAT CEO Brent Cagle to testify. The hearing comes after last year's passage of Irina's Law and Republican calls for more action to stop crime. Lincoln County health officials say a person has tested positive for measles. That patient is not vaccinated. They're also looking into how they were exposed to the virus. Officials listed 3 places where the person visited while contagious that could cause exposure for anyone who is not protected against the virus. They were the Meeting Place and the Ingalls Supermarket on January 27th and the Atrium Health Lincolnton Emergency Department on Monday. Officials say anyone who thinks they've been exposed and has not received the MMR vaccine should call their doctor or the county health department.
Coming up after the break, talking more about the cold weather tonight and who's going to see a little bit of snow on their Friday with my full pinpoint forecast next.
Do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma.
FBI agents have a message for the person who kidnapped the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie, what they're saying about the case, and the message from her abductor.
He was talking about how he misses and loves his family so much, and he seems like a great guy.
And a long-lost love letter from the Vietnam War, how an Army veteran is trying to solve the mystery on what happened to the author. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. Leaders of a North Carolina city say they're still recovering 7 months after experiencing a cyber attack. Thomasville officials just restored the online pay option for people paying city taxes and fees. They're also seeing no indications that citizens' private information was leaked. Federal and state investigators had to shut off internet access to the city during their probe into the attack. That shutoff lasted for months. It even forced police to switch from digitized reports to paper and pen.
Improvise systems in place to make sure that the police officers can take reports and manage those and file them away in file cabinets until the records management system is brought back online.
Thomasville police should have the computerized record system back online next week. North Carolina leaders want to change how school districts and local farmers can work together to give students fresh produce in their meals. Today, members of the State Board of Education approved a request to lawmakers to increase how much money schools can spend on deals with local farmers before having to find funding elsewhere. Right now, districts can spend $90,000 before having to find money elsewhere. The board wants to raise that number to the federal threshold, which is $350,000. The board also approved requests for technology funding, changes to teacher license requirements, and virtual charter school funding. This week's cold weather is taking a toll on more than just humans and pets. Florida aquariums are taking in sea turtles that have been cold stunned by low water temperatures. Sea life experts say it's a delicate process to get animals back to normal. The turtles spend a lot of time at the water's surface so they can breathe. That makes them susceptible to become cold stunned, similar to hypothermia in humans.
The colder the water, the colder their body. So they come in critically ill. Their bodies are depressed from that cold temperature, and it takes quite a while for us to determine what's going on.
Specialists only raise the turtles' body temperatures by a few degrees each day. Warming them up faster than that could kill the creatures. Snow fell on parts of North Carolina overnight. This is video from Statesville showing the fresh blanket on the ground in that community. The flakes were also falling a little more to the north in Greensboro. People there saw a few flurries this morning, adding a tiny bit of snow to what they got last weekend. You're looking live at downtown Monroe on this chilly night. Any snow on the ground there will melt away some more tomorrow. Meteorologist Andrew Brightman is in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Andrew, we're not done with this roller coaster temperature ride we're on.
Not quite. A couple more days here left to go, Carolina. It's going to be a cold night across the region. 31 degrees currently, calm conditions across the Carolinas right now. Up on King Street and Boone, we've got mostly clear skies. They have a little fresh snow on the ground, and more is coming with those winter weather advisories in effect, as we are expecting some snow on the way tomorrow. Right now, Pinpoint radar is completely quiet. We zoom out here, storm offshore. Next one, though, getting ready to sweep down quickly from the upper Midwest as we go throughout the overnight hours and heading into your Friday. Temperatures across the southeast is chilly out there. 28 in Knoxville, 30 in Nashville, 28 in Virginia Beach. So we're still dealing with some of that Arctic air hanging on across the region. It's been a battle here just to get back up above average across the region. Futurecast in motion as we go throughout the overnight hours into your Friday. Here it's a cold start tomorrow morning. Definitely going to need the jackets here as you're walking on out the door. From there, watching this frontal boundary moving in. For the most part, that downsloping flow off the mountains is going to limit any precipitation here in Charlotte. I'm not going to completely rule out maybe an isolated shower, but I'm really watching the mountains as we get into the afternoon. Any rain will quickly change over to snow, and then watching that upslope flow with more snow flying here for Boone and Jefferson, heading through the evening, overnight hours, even into the early morning hours on Saturday before you start to dry out. I don't think they're going down to zero. It is going to get cold, It's definitely going to be another blast of fresh land-based Arctic air into the region. It's not going to get quite that cold, though, across the region. Heading into the afternoon hours, likely going to be a struggle to break the 40-degree mark here, maybe just getting into the low 40s, but definitely another chilly day and then another chilly night on the way here across the region heading into your Sunday morning. How much snow could we see? It's all about the mountains. Could see again 1 to 2, 3 to 4 inches for Boone and Jefferson. Those area ski resorts, though, higher elevations above 2,500 feet. They might be talking about 4 or 5, even 6 inches of some fresh powder for those area ski resorts. Winds, that's going to be a major factor later in the day tomorrow through Saturday. Southwesterly winds gusting here 20 to 30 miles an hour. And then you see those winds really starting to pick up as we head into the afternoon hours. Out ahead of the front, could see some 30, 35 mile per hour wind gusts. And then once the front moves through, focus turns to the mountains. Winds start howling. Could see wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour possible. Places like Shelby, Morganton, Hickory. Notice where we have those high wind watches. Anything in red that's indicating wind gusts in excess of 40 miles an hour. So quite a little blustery here as we get to your Saturday morning for places like Boone. And then slowly as we go throughout the day, those winds will begin to die down. Weekend forecast, high of 41 Saturday, staying dry, cold start Sunday. And then temperatures are on the upswing as we go through just about all of next week. Overnight tonight, watching a little bit of freezing fog. I mean, if we see any fog and temperatures below freezing, again, freezing fog is possible as we go through the morning hours tomorrow. And then from there, we're seeing those temperatures head on up into the lower 50s. Low temperatures tonight, 19 for the mountains. Elsewhere here, a lot of middle 20s expected. High temperatures tomorrow, 51 in the QC, 49 in Concord, mid 30s as we head on up into the mountains. So it's going to be a chilly day out there, but temperatures getting back up above average here as we'll look across the region. Those temperatures getting into the low 50s here as we get towards portions of upstate South Carolina and around Charlotte. More of the same. And Shelby and Gastonia seeing those temperatures into the lower 50s. Your pinpoint 7-day forecast back up into the 60s, though, Carolina, as we head into the middle part of next week. Maybe even Thursday pushing into the upper 60s.
Excited for that, Andrew. Thanks. To borrow from Barry Manilow, looks like he made it. Number 59 will soon be enshrined. The breaking news on Panthers great Luke Kuechly's upcoming trip to Canton. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. It's a good day to be a Panther, especially for retired linebacker Luke Kuechly. He spent his entire 8-year career with Carolina, and it's taken him to the pinnacle of the sport. Gabe McDonald from Carolina Sports Live is here with his breaking news. Kuechly will soon be fitted for his gold jacket.
Absolutely. Carolina didn't have to wait too long, but it's finally happening. In just his second year of eligibility, Luke Kuechly is heading to Canton as a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. And it's quite a group. Kuechly is going to be inducted alongside fellow legends Drew Brees, Larry Fitzgerald, Adam Vinatieri, and Roger Craig. Even in a short career, Luke made one heck of an impact. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012 and then followed that up in 2013 by winning Defensive Player of the Year. He was an all-decade player for the 2010s, and he was an all-pro and Pro Bowler for all but one of his seasons in the NFL. No doubt a transcendent player who came into the league in 2012 out of Boston College, widely considered as one of the best defensive players of his era and now officially a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Kuechly is now the first player that played his entire career for the Panthers to make it to Canton, just part of a big night for the Black and Blue. And Cedric McMillan was named Offensive Rookie of the Year. Hopefully he could one day get a gold jacket as well. We'll have a lot more on the Black and Blue and so much more across Carolina sports as the Hornets just made some history as well. That and more coming up at 11 right here on CSL.
Thanks, Gabe. A routine trash pickup turned into a life-saving moment for a Kentucky sanitation worker. Ren Music shows us how his quick reaction helped rescue a stranded woman.
Wednesday afternoon, Jody Gifford was running his usual trash pickup route in Nicholasville when he noticed a hand waving at him oddly low.
I was just coming around the curb about 3 houses down from hers. Luckily in my peripheral vision, I seen an arm waving like close to her car, I guess, and I thought she was under her car.
He came out to find social worker and mother of two, Katie Hayes, on the ground in shock from pain.
She slipped and fell, and I guess I was just at the right place, right time to help her, I guess.
Katie was trying to bring out her bins before leaving for the grocery store. She says she slipped on black ice in her driveway, breaking her tibia and fibia in the process.
I knew it was broken. I heard it snap. It sounded like a tree branch.
Without her phone, all she could do was yell, hoping somebody nearby would hear her cries for help.
I did not see him at first, so I was just yelling for help. And of course, everybody's at work or gone. And then he was actually driving the truck, and I waved him down.
Fortunately, the sanitation worker reacted quickly and used what he could in the situation. He called 911 and turned off her running car while he found coats he could use to keep her warm as they waited for the ambulance together. Katie isn't sure how long she was out there before being found, but she says she's grateful Jody found her when he did.
The medical lobby has not negotiated with us on this at all.
Advocates are seeking a change in the law to provide more medical care to parts of North Carolina without access. The pros and cons of prescribing more duties to nurses. And he could be the most famous bunny since Bugs and Easter. What Bad Bunny is saying ahead of his Super Bowl halftime performance. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. President Trump is taking a personal interest in the kidnapping case involving the mother of Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. He's ordering federal agencies to provide resources in the investigation of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's abduction. As Jay Dow reports, FBI agents have a message for the person behind Guthrie's disappearance.
New developments in the missing persons case of Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie. Investigators still holding out hope.
Right now, we believe Nancy is still out there.
One of the ransom notes sent in this case already deemed to be a fake by the FBI. The other considered legitimate, with Thursday evening identified as the first of two deadlines.
The ransom note that was distributed to the media did make a demand for 5 p.m. today. And if a transfer wasn't made, then I think a second demand was for next Monday.
Time also of the essence because of the 84-year-old's health.
To anyone that may be involved, do the right thing. This is an 84-year-old grandma. This is an 84-year-old grandma that needs vital medication for her well-being.
We know she is in need of medication, daily medication. And we also know that this is day 4 or 5, and still we don't know that she's getting her medication. That could in itself prove fatal.
So far, a DNA analysis has turned up one positive hit.
Blood on the porch, that was one we did. It came back to Nancy.
Investigators are, with the clock ticking, also working on filling in the gaps of the established timeline. When her family went to check on her late Monday morning, they discovered she was missing and called 911.
We know that the tech company that we sent that camera off to, yes, they've said they've run out of ways to recover any video.
Retired NYPD Deputy Commissioner Tariq Shepard says a look back in time before Sunday will be critical in helping investigators make a break in this case.
Who was this suspicious person? Maybe that was near her residence. What kind of cars were up and down that block? The days before even that she was taken, was there anybody casing her house?
A bill to toughen South Carolina's drunk driving laws is headed to the State House. Senate lawmakers gave final approval to the measure today. It would create harsher penalties for drunk drivers who injure someone else and remove clauses in current law which let some cases get tossed out over police videotaping issues. Advocates have been pushing for more than a decade for tighter laws to hold drunk drivers accountable. There's no word on when the bill will make it on the House calendar yet.
There are entire business models built around selling access to physician supervision. People pay tens of thousands of dollars per year to do that.
And that payout ends up costing people more when they need care. When North Carolina expanded Medicaid, the people behind it said it meant 600,000 people who didn't have health insurance would now get it. But the law did nothing to increase the number of people providing that care. As Bob Buckley reports, some people say there's a simple fix for that problem.
Hello, how are you today? Shaquithia Peacock has been a nurse for more than a quarter century and been part of a legislative fight for even longer.
It seems like you've been fighting this battle for decades.
Absolutely. Peacock is the chairwoman of the North Carolina Nurses Association Council of Nurse Practitioners and is working to get this legislation passed, the SAVE Act, which would be the first major update to nursing protocol since the 1980s.
And those rules don't make sense anymore.
Chris Kauthperwaite is with the State Nurses Association.
28 other states have passed bills similar to the one that we're trying to pass. None of them have said that that was a mistake and tried to go back.
As North Carolina law stands now, a physician has to oversee the work of nurse practitioners, midwives, and anesthetists, even though those professionals are only doing work that they're trained and certified to do.
And the evidence is squarely on our side of this issue. Decades of research have shown that the care that advanced practice registered nurses provide is safe, effective, that they are excellent at what they do within their scope, what they're taught to do.
Physicians like Marianne Contagianis aren't so sure.
I serve on the North Carolina Medical Society's Medical Task Force Committee.
She's a plastic surgeon who discussed the need for oversight when she ran for Congress recently.
We've looked at the training that's involved. And when you look at the training, there's just no comparison with either a PA or nurse practitioner in the training that we get.
The doctors' groups appear to be saying that this is a bunch of nurses trying to play doctor. Is that accurate?
I'd say no, because I don't want to be a physician.
What Peacock and others would like to do is help fill the gap in smaller towns where physicians often won't go and do the large body of work that she is trained for. But getting what some nurses refer to as a permission slip from a physician can cost as much as $30,000 a year.
Expense, yeah. Expense can really take a practitioner out.
The SAVE Act won't change what she does or how. Her training allows her to diagnose patients, order tests, and write prescriptions.
But they have that now. All they've got to do is just report to the physician.
What will change is how I complete the paperwork associated with that statute requirement, which says that I should have a physician and meet with one on an every 6-month basis, now that I've been practicing for 26 years.
The physicians' advocates don't seem swayed by the argument.
The medical lobby has not negotiated with us on this at all. They will not come to the table to even discuss if we can move it forward incrementally or not.
Do you think you have the backing to make this happen?
Absolutely. If we could get our bill to the floor, we're very confident that it would pass.
Although the bill to reform this oversight has had trouble in both chambers of the General Assembly, the greatest opposition appears to be in the State House.
That was Bob Buckley reporting. Representatives with the State Nurses Association emphasize what state law calls supervision isn't what most people in the public think it is. It's not a doctor sitting in on every case. In many instances, they might meet with nurses for as little as 15 minutes every 6 months. Investigators say 3 people are dead and 7 more injured after a vehicle crashed into a Los Angeles grocery store. It happened shortly after noon Pacific time today in LA's Westwood neighborhood. Firefighters say an elderly driver clipped a bicyclist down the block from the store, then went through the store entrance. Officers do not believe the crash was intentional. A group of students at Western Carolina University might have something better than a letter grade for a key assignment. Their work helped solve a 2-year-old missing persons case in Durham. Shanila Kabir reports on their assist in a cold case.
Dr. Kaylee Best, a professor of forensic anthropology at WCU, says she couldn't be more proud of her students after they helped close a 2-year missing person case.
More eyes, but also they were able to use a lot of the skills and knowledge that they've learned here at Western in applied settings.
Dr. Best says this all began when a representative from the Durham County Medical Examiner's Office sat in on one of her classes.
The representative approached me and basically was like, hey, we have this case. Could you guys do anything with this?
Dr. Best and 6 students spent months preparing, and then in December, they joined local investigators in a search at Ellerby Creek.
We were conducting grid search for a lot of the day until ultimately we did end up finding evidence and the additional remains.
The remains have since been confirmed as a match to the missing person. Dr. Best says she's thankful to help provide some closure for family and friends.
Anytime that forensic anthropologists are kind of brought into the mix, the individual typically has been missing for a little bit of time. So it is a good way to, remind people that you still matter, that these individuals still matter, and that we are here for the families and for investigators to help find those individuals.
That was Shanila Kabir reporting. While the case is closed, Durham Police Department officials have not released the name of the person found. An Army veteran in Virginia is taking on a difficult mission, trying to reunite a love letter dating back to the Vietnam War with the author's loved ones. He found the letter hidden away in the attic of a Norfolk home. As Cheyenne Pagan reports, all that's known about the author is his first name, Charles, and that the letter was for his darling.
Darling, I love everyone in my family.
Dylan Worley is in the process of buying this home off Albert Avenue in Norfolk. When it came time to do the inspection last week, he decided to tag along in the attic.
While he was up there doing what he needed to do, I was sitting up there with him, and I found a note underneath some trash.
It turns out this tarnished piece of paper from the Vietnam War contained heartwarming words of love. A letter from a man named Charles who was serving in Da Nang. It was sent to his, quote, darling, who was waiting for him back home, dated June 17th, 1969. Charles wrote about his excitement to be coming back home in 60 days and how one of his Marine friends was hurt, but was doing okay.
He was talking about how he misses and loves his family so much, and he seems like a great guy.
The letter has no last names, making it hard to identify Charles, what military branch he was in, or his, quote, darling. The mystery has captivated Worley, who served in the Army.
And I was like, wow, this is very interesting. I've wrote many notes home, so I kind of know where he's at in his mind, and it's awesome.
Worley feels the letter was meant to be found, and now he's hoping to get it in the right hands.
It's history. It's something that your family should cherish, and what their grandfather or great-grandfather has done for the country.
Worley says the person he is buying the home from has only owned the property since 2020. He's searched tax records to see if he could find who owned the home in the late 50s and has reached out to a few people with no response yet.
He just showed that he cared so much for his family and his 2 children. I believe they were 2 boys that he has, so hopefully one of them sees it, or one of their great-granddaughters sees it.
Tens of millions of people are expected to watch Super Bowl 60 on Sunday. Many will tune in for the game. Others will watch for the halftime performer Bad Bunny. The Puerto Rican superstar talked to the media today, fresh off winning 3 Grammys this week, including the top award, Album of the Year. The musician isn't saying much about Sunday's performance, but calls the Super Bowl a showcase he could not pass up.
It was like, oh wow, the world really wants me, like, so I should go also to give some love, show love to the world, to Latin America.
Not everyone will watch Bad Bunny's performance. White House aides say President Trump will likely watch an alternate halftime show headlined by Kid Rock.
Coming up after the break, talking more about the cold weather moving in overnight tonight and who's seeing some snow on your Friday with my full forecast next.
And a Western North Carolina bridge is getting a special edition for flying creatures. Why the NCDOT project is going batty. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte.
Queen City News honors Black History Month. Kwame Ryan is the first person of color to be named as music director for the Charlotte Symphony. Born in Canada and raised in Trinidad, he discovered his passion for conducting at the age of 9. Ryan has led orchestras all over the world, from Dallas to Paris.
A South Carolina man is chasing his musical dreams all the way to New York City. We can't play his tunes because of music rights issues, but he's gaining notoriety for how he's getting around the Charleston area, as Delilah James shows us.
Jeremiah Boone, known professionally as Basic, is turning heads on the peninsula and beyond, singing, playing the guitar, and riding a bike backwards. It's a secret weapon that helped launch his career.
Riding the bike backwards and playing, it's like, yeah, that's cool. But then once people are like, now they're tuned in and they're listening, like, oh, wait, he can actually sing, or like his melodies that he's creating is actually really good. I think that's what separates me or gives me that different edge.
What started as a quirk became his signature move, making him stand out online, growing a massive following on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Success came fast, but so did challenges. Figuring out his craft, keeping fans engaged, and performing at local concerts and markets. Eventually, he knew it was time to take a big leap.
I just fell into this like gray area where I was like, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to push myself or create a space where I can still, you know, be vulnerable and let people know like, hey, I can do this. But then December 16th, I woke up and something just told me it's now or never.
Now in New York, Basic is chasing his dreams, but his low country roots remain strong. He's already planning to return, showcasing Charleston talent and giving back to the community.
But I love y'all, man. It's there's nothing's gonna change. If I come back to Charleston, I'm always try to set up a free show, set up something where other artists are seen, and just try to give back.
People in the North Carolina Piedmont are enjoying this latest snowfall. This is video from Troutman from a man named Sean. In his post, he said, "Would you look at that, our third winter event of the year." Some parts of the Piedmont got an inch of snow overnight. Meteorologist Andrew Brightman is here with me. Andrew, the mountains are going to get another round of snow as well.
Yeah, overnight tonight we'll still see dry conditions, but tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, we are expecting snow here across the higher elevations where we do have those winter weather advisories in effect. Going to be a cold night tonight, though, all across the Carolinas here. More mountain snow, though, is on the way as we go throughout your Friday here across the region, across the higher elevation. You can see still some of the snow on the rooftops, and yeah, still looking like winter out there with another cold blast ahead as we head into your weekend forecast. 31 degrees right now, calm conditions here across uptown Charlotte, up on King Street and Boone. Again, very, very quiet, serene, and chilly as well as we get up into the higher elevations. Winter weather advisories in effect for our mountain counties. Then also they're under high wind watches along with places like Burke and Caldwell County, where they can see wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour as this front moves through. Pinpoint radar quiet here across the central Carolinas right now. We zoom out, area low pressure heading on out to sea, and then off to our west, watching a frontal boundary that's going to be sweeping on down from Canada and moving in here across the Carolinas. 28 in Knoxville, 30 in Charlotte, 36 in Wilmington, 32 in Columbia. Temperatures upper 30s to around the freezing mark. Now, you want warmer temperatures? Well, that is right down the road here as we go into next week. Going to be seeing those above average temperatures really start to move in here across the Carolinas later next weekend and heading into next weekend. So relief is on the way if you've been tired of all this cold weather here across the region. Futurecast tomorrow morning, might see a little patchy freezing fog, and then also we're watching our next frontal boundary moving through. You can see it pushing in here towards lunchtime across the mountains. Temperatures will start to fall there. Elsewhere, though, still low to mid 50s here in Charlotte as we get into the afternoon hours on your Friday. Friday night, we've got some more snow showers here continuing across the higher elevations here, mostly clear skies as we go through the overnight into your Saturday in Charlotte. Temperatures are going to be chilly and then not quite getting down to zero, but nothing to sneeze at here. Probably going to be seeing those temperatures getting down into the single digits as we head up into the higher elevations here and getting into your Saturday afternoon. Middle 30s, maybe upper 30s here, close to the 40-degree mark for the first half of your weekend. And then from there, the warming trend really takes over as we head on into Sunday and then continuing, especially into next week. How much snow's on the way? Maybe a few inches for the area ski resorts. Up to 3 or 4 inches in Boone or Jefferson is going to be possible tomorrow. So Still more snow on the way for at least portions of the Carolinas. Wind gusts, they're going to be blustery starting during the afternoon hours tomorrow. See those blustery winds 20 to 30 miles an hour, and in some places even higher out ahead of the front Friday afternoon. Behind it, then the high wind concern turns up into the mountains here, especially during the overnight hours. 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts are going to be possible with this frontal boundary after it moves through, and it will be a very blustery Saturday morning for places like Boone, Jefferson, Morganton, and Hickory. So just keep that in mind. And those winds do start to come down. It becomes a fairly quiet rest of your weekend. So right around the 40-degree mark here on your Saturday. Sunday, we're back up into the upper 40s. And from there, it only gets warmer. Overnight tonight, watching a little patchy freezing fog here across portions of the Carolinas. Otherwise, mostly clear skies. And then we start to warm back up at least a little bit tomorrow. Middle 20s in Charlotte, upper teens across the mountains. And then we're up into the lower 50s tomorrow and middle 30s across the mountains. Your pinpoint 7-day forecast, there's those middle 60s on the way as we get towards the middle part of next week.
Vermont is typically known for things like maple syrup and skiing, but a bakery is gaining fame for something hot, how their sauce is getting global attention. And Gabe McDonald is here with a preview of Carolina Sports Live at 11. Big night for some names with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. The NFL honors is about to wrap up, and you have two guys getting some big honors. Luke Kuechly going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and Tetairoa McMillan being named the Offensive Rookie of the Year after putting up 1,000 yards this year for the Black and Blue. So we'll break down those big accomplishments, and also the Charlotte Hornets, 8 wins in a row for the first time since December of '99. The guys are hooping. We're going to talk all that and more coming up at 11 right here on CSL.
You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. A bridge project along I-40 in western North Carolina is going batty to benefit the little flying mammals. NCDOT engineer Kenny McCourt says he got the idea while watching Animal Planet with his daughter.
Sitting with a notebook, drawing up some ideas on how to take it off the bridge, and it hit me. Crews are replacing the main bridge at exit 15 along I-40 in Haywood County.
The old bridge was a place where bats would roost. The new bridge was not going to make that possible, so McCourt worked with colleagues and wildlife experts to create roosting spaces on the bridge wall.
And me and my little girl were researching about bat habitats. The ideal drop height is anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. Just so happens that that wall is 25 feet high, so we got to try different heights and locations to where in the future we may be able to really dial in these bat habitats and give the bats somewhere they can really thrive.
NCDOT is also in the middle of a $1 billion project to repair the 12-mile stretch of I-40 in the Pigeon River Gorge. That roadway was heavily damaged by Hurricane Helene. South Carolina is known for growing some of the world's hottest chili peppers, like the Carolina Reaper. Another state is gaining fame for its peppers too, and for the YouTube show that features hot sauce from a Green Mountain State bakery. Lily Sakaniwa gives us a taste.
When Claire George founded Butterfly Bakery in 2003, making hot sauce wasn't part of the plan.
I started it as a small natural foods bakery, baking in the middle of the night.
Eventually, she started selling her products at farmers markets.
If those things would sell well, then great. And if they wouldn't sell well, then we would trade them with farmers for what they had left over at the end of the market.
The most common item, chili peppers. Despite growing well here in Vermont, George says there wasn't a huge market for them.
What do you do with a bunch of chili peppers but make hot sauce? And that turned out to be a huge hit.
The sauce was an instant success, and not long after, she went all in.
Now we're really a farm-to-fork food manufacturer. Everything we make is made with ingredients that are sourced directly from small Vermont farms.
George sells her hot sauces under the Butterfly Bakery brand, but the business is also a co-packer, meaning they make sauces for other brands as well.
We're always experimenting. We're always trying something new. Some of those things just we make them once and that's it. We're never going to make them again. Other ones become a sauce on Hot Ones, for example.
You heard right. George's creations have gained national attention, having made multiple sauces featured on the hit YouTube series. Her newest one, the Smoked Serrano Squash Reaper X sauce, made its debut on the current season. I got the chance to try it out.
This is number 9 on Hot Ones. Okay. So this is a extra super hot, kind of ridiculous sauce. Okay. And it's designed to be that way.
Totally. All right, we should do a little cheers?
Yes, cheers.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. It's hot, flavorful, and certainly packs a punch. Last year, between her own brand and others, George says they produced around 500,000 units.
Everybody has their own personal relationship with our products. This is the sauce that they like to bring to their family events, to their coworkers. I like kind of being a part of other people's lives in the way that fits for them.
Butterfly Bakery has a wide variety of products. You can see them all by checking out their website. A link can be found on mychamplainvalley.com.
You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. We'll be right back with a final check of your pinpoint forecast, followed by Carolina Sports Live. Download the Queen City News Plus app on your smart TV using either a Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire device. Carolina Sports Live is next at 11. Our on-demand programs include Morning Edition with our crew discussing problems of tinnitus and hearing loss. And on Tired Parents Club, our new moms and dads reflect on their children's first big snow days. Watch it all on our new Queen City News Plus app.
Let's close this out in style, Caroline. One final check-in here in your pinpoint 7-day forecast. Got a dry, chilly weekend on the way, especially on Saturday, with highs only getting up into the lower 40s. Average high for this time of year is in the mid-50s. Now, once we get to Monday, things start to make a little bit of a turn here across the Carolinas. Temperatures start moving back up. 60 on Monday, middle 60s for the middle part of the week, and even going even warmer here as we get towards next Thursday. So you want warmer temperatures? Well, guess what? That's exactly what Mother Nature has in store for you.
It's been so long since I've seen 68 on there. I almost don't even know what that's going to feel like.
It's been a hot minute here. It's how cold it's been over the past 2 to 3 weeks. Truly impressive, but things are starting to change a little bit.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for joining us. Carolina Sports Live is coming up next.